Today, the scriptures that we're looking at are about forgiveness, and Jesus is telling a story of how a king, a master, forgave his slave, but that slave didn't forget the next slave down, and about the repercussions of that. Forgiveness is really, really hard, and we've often heard forgive and forget, and there's an assumption that that comes from the Bible. It actually doesn't. It's from Shakespeare, and it's from the novel Don Quixote, uh, both in the 16 and 1700s. It's not biblical. It's easy to understand how people would mistake that, because Shakespeare wrote right around the time the English Bible was being translated, or sorry, the Bible was being translated into English, but it's not from the Bible. So we get from the Bible that we're to forgive, nothing but forget, but we're to forgive. And not just 7 times, but 70 times 7 times. Now, 7 is a special number for Hebrew culture. It means completeness. You know, God made the world in 7 days. It's the number of perfection. Of there's nothing else that needs to happen. And in the scripture, Jesus talks about, no, don't forgive 70 times, but 70 times 7. So it's endless. But the thing is, this forgiveness is not about forgiving the person who does the same thing 70 odd times, and you kind of lose that memory because you are taught you're supposed to forget. That's not it. The thing with forgiving that many times is just it's meant to be a really large number that it represents infinity, that you're always supposed to forgive someone. But it's really, really hard. And the thing is, we're not supposed to forgive them by giving them permission to do the same thing to us over and over again. That's not the point. The point is, if the forgiveness is something that is for something really big, like break up a relationship, of gossiping behind your back and trying to destroy your reputation, of stealing a job, lying about your papers, stealing the information you did, the 70 times 7 is not about forgiving them. It's about us going through the motion of forgiveness. Because when someone really hurts you that badly, it's not a one and done kind of thing. You can't just forgive someone and it's over. It's almost like a daily muscle that you have to work out, kind of like doing bicep curls or sit-ups. You can't just do one and have that muscle strengthened. You have to do a lot almost every day, repeatedly, for years, to get the kind of buff look that you want. Same as forgiveness. Forgiveness is a muscle, just like love is a muscle. It's a choice that we make, and it's something that we have to do regularly. And especially when the person who has hurt us does something else that hurts us, and it just seems to compound. We always have two choices in that. We can stick with the anger and the seething, but all that does is make you more angry and make you more cranky and, give you ulcers if you're not careful enough in old age. Or we can learn to forgive. And it's not something that we're even used to doing. I mean, if someone murders a child and the parents of that child publicly forgive the murderer, that act of forgiveness gets more media attention than the murder itself. Because the murder we expect, but the act of forgiveness, we don't know what to do with that as a society. So Jesus is kind of telling us it's every time they kind of annoy us, we have to kind of focus in, really isolate that whole forgiveness muscle and work on it again. Because ultimately, in the end, they don't need to know that you've forgiven them. It's not even about them anymore. It's about how you feel. And if you want to carry that bitterness, or if you want to get rid of it. So sometimes you have to choose to get rid of it. And if it's big enough and it's recent enough, you have to choose several times a day, maybe every couple of days, to just push that away and say, no, I'm not letting that control my life. I'm going to do an act of forgiveness. I am going to push that away. I am going to do my best to not have that change me. Maybe make me a little more aware so I don't fall for it again, but not change who I am. I'm not going to have that make me a bitter, cranky, angry person, because we all know who are bitter, cranky, angry people who've never learned to forgive, and we really don't want to be like that. So the act of forgiveness, the muscle of forgiveness, is something for us, done by us, repeatedly as needed. It is not about making the other person feel better. It's about ourselves.